Well, hello, fellow travelers, and welcome back to M&M Cruise Life. My name is Melissa, and in today's video, I'm going to be taking you through, well, a walkthrough of my first visit to Icy Strait Point. Now, Icy Strait Point is a popular tourist destination. It features more than 20 exciting tours, including a restored 1912 Alaskan salmon cannery, which is a big focal point of the trip experience, and a museum. There's also a variety of nature walks and restaurants to choose from if you want to take part in the local cuisine. All of the retail shops are 100% Alaska owned, and there's even a beach that they allow tourists to access while they're exploring the city. What I loved about my experience in visiting this port is the untouched beauty. When you walk off the ship, there's something about the air. The air is very crisp and clean, and you can see snow-capped mountains, and it's truly what you look for in an Alaska experience. Now, immediately off the ship, you have this long covered gangway that is quite a trek. So if you are someone with mobility issues, they do offer a vehicle that you can ride back and forth across the gangway. Once you get to the end of the gangway, you'll see the Adventure Center, and that's where you'll meet your party for a variety of different excursions. It's this large building you walk into with just high ceilings. It's aesthetically pleasing to look at. It's very beautiful. They also have a coffee shop that I highly recommend you try out. I'm a coffee enthusiast. I love trying all sorts of coffee, and that's one of my favorite things to do. So consider supporting small business and check out the coffee shop inside the Adventure Center. Now, for our family, we did not see any excursions at this port that caught our eye that was within our price point. So we really just spent the day exploring and taking advantage of all the free stuff that they have available to tourists. So once I got my cup of coffee, we left the Adventure Center, and the next part of our journey to the cannery was this big open space where they had a fire pit, they had a restaurant and a bar, and then across the way they had a transporter or a gondola, which, by the way, is free. It's just an up and back, but it's something really cool to do to see the city in a different way. I highly recommend it, and the line doesn't take that long to go through. So there are signs everywhere, which is super helpful. Some of them are very large, so it's impossible to get lost. And the city is very small. There was a large sign that pointed us towards the cannery and the museum, which is where we were trying to get to because that's where all the shops are. Now, as we toured along the trail, the next stop along the way was a wooden deck that had a orca sculpture that was donated by Norwegian Cruise Line. It's really pretty. It overlooks the beach and the ocean. You get a chance to really just take a moment to enjoy those snow-capped mountains and take in the air. So once we did the overlook, we continued on our path to the museum and the shops down at the end of the pier. When you get down there, there's a look, there's an aesthetic to this city that is really cool. It's nautical themed, of course, but you see the old fishermen's boats that they used to use. They had glass fishing floats wrapped in netting. The signs were made of wood. It had like a old coastal vibe beach theme. They had piles of fishermen's rope and netting they used back in the day to catch salmon. That theme carries all the way through into the warehouse shopping, which is a large open concept with lots of different shops around the edges. And we just had a lot of fun exploring and looking at the handmade items, the souvenirs, as well as taking in the culture and the history. They had a lot of placards with information inside the museum. It was set up in such a way where it really invited you to travel to the past and see how the city has evolved over the years. Once we got done with shopping, we spent the rest of the day on the beach throwing rocks in the water. And I felt like that was a great way to end the day. We didn't end up getting anything to eat. There's so much to eat on the cruise ship that we didn't feel like we needed to spend any extra money, but I did hear that the seafood was really great from fellow travelers on the cruise ship. So the Crab Shack was one of the ones that was called out, and so was the cookhouse. It's interesting that this was the port of call that had the longest stay. So Carnival, we were allowed to get off the ship at 10 a.m. and everyone had to be back on board by 7:30 p.m. If you're looking to fill the time, if you're not really wowed by the onboard itinerary, to definitely look into Excursions, because we explored the city for about 2.5 hours, and the majority of the time we spent on the beach. It's a small town, and really once you walk through the cannery and you go to the shops, There's really not a lot to do unless you want to eat. And we went on the gondola ride, which was really cool, and I highly recommend that. That was very scenic. It really does offer a different perspective of the city. The zip liner was a lot of fun to watch. You can hear them barreling down the hill and hitting those compression coils to kind of slow them down. That was a sight to behold. I'm not a thrill seeker, not something I would do, but we had a lot of fun watching. And like I said, not much to do for children under 5. I wouldn't even say there's a lot to do for children 12 and under. When you're done shopping, I think the beach and just people watching is the only thing left to do. But overall, it was a really enjoyable day. Like I said, the zip liner is a lot of fun. The gondola ride was fun. The coffee was really good. And we got a couple souvenirs for us to remember the moment. And with that, thank you for taking the time to check out this video. If you like this type of content, please consider subscribing. My goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So consider supporting the channel. I talk about all things family fun and cruising. So like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.